Hi everyone. For many of us, the worst moment of every day, it goes something like that. The alarm clock noise. That noise marks our daily return from the mysterious world that we call sleep. We spend a third of our life sleeping, and science has yet not determined why our body needs sleep. And I think that most of us have asked himself one day, why do we have to sleep? So in this presentation, I will share with you some information about how sleep works and why we're not getting enough sleep. And finally, what happens if we don't sleep? So far then, some weird snapshot of dream here or there. I think that most of us have no idea what happens when we close our eyes. And likely we are in good company, because a lot of scientists have no idea about sleep too. For a long time, it was just something that happened. Everyone assumed that our brains were hitting the reset button and turning off just for a while. But in the past few decades, it's become clear that sleep might be the single most important behavior that humans and other animals experience. It might seem like that we don't do much while sleeping. But neuroscience tells us a different story. The human sleep patterns are controlled by two competing networks of chemical and electronical signals in the brain. During our waking hours, the neurotransmitters released deep in our brain and keep our cerebral cortex alarmed and primed for consciousness. A special region here in the center of our brain acts as our biological to you more. When the world goes dark, this monster switch cells on the pineal gland to increase the level of the hormone melatonin in the bloodstream to tell you when to feel asleep or awake. The secretion of this hormone melatonin inhibits in the presence of light. So if someone wants to reset his biological clock, he can use some exogenous melatonin. And we by default can progressively delay or advance our sleep cycle. Feelings of fatigue set in, body temperature lowers lightly, and the head loss is actually why many of us likes to fall asleep with our feet sticking out of the covers. Together, all this neurochemistry sends one clear message to our body. When it's dark, it's time to go to bed. But unfortunately, in modern times, darkness is something increasingly rare. And we got one person to thank for that. It's Thomas Edison. We thought artificial lights can have serious effects in our sleep cycle. When we were exposed all the night to bright light, and especially the blue bright lights comes from the electronical screens like our laptop, our cell phone, television, etc., can have some dangerous effects in our sleep cycle. And because it's very confusing to our brain to think that the sun is really shining. This can be very confusing. So depression, heart disease, cancer, diabetes has all been linked to the chronic overexposure to artificial lights. And still, there is no consensus or unanimity on exactly why our body needs sleep. We are definitely less active at night, but considering we only burn about 100 fewer calories while sleeping. Moreover, the theory said that our bodies use sleep, time of sleep, to flush out all the noisy garbage. And for example, the decision making regions of our brain, it don't get any downtime while we are awake. And just try now to think about nothing. Go ahead and see, think about nothing. I'm sure that you are thinking about not thinking. So, sleep seems to be the only way or the only time for this region to power down and get a break.